In this video, we'll look at the U9 and 10 formation of 3-1-1. We'll look at its defensive principles and also offensive principles. So let's jump right into the formation of 3-1-1. You can see we have the goalkeeper at the back, then we have three players in the back line, a center midfielder, and then a center forward or striker. Okay, looking at these the names of these back three, this is called a wing back. This would be the left wing back, this would be the right wing back, and this is the center back. Very important that our players start to know these terms and start to understand the roles and responsibilities of these positions. The wonderful thing about this formation is these wing backs actually provide a lot of width and a lot of depth at times and support. We'll go into further detail when we get into the offensive principles. In terms of defensive principles, there's really two schools of thought. Let's say the opposition have the ball in their end. Okay, as a team, we have a decision to make. Do we drop off and consolidate our half and make it hard for them to break us down, or do we look to press them high up the field and look to win it back? Okay, so we should be getting pressure on the ball, and basically we're hunting in a pack to win the ball back. So everybody's getting up, getting nice and tight, and basically trying to outnumber the opposition in key areas of the park. It's very important that the back three here, along with the defensive midfielder, they keep a tight diamond of compaction. Obviously we got pressure on the ball from the center forward, but there should be a tight supporting cast staff behind them. And the reason we have this is so, you know, if we're all spread out, right, and we don't have that pressure on the ball, then there are gaps in between us, and we're not going to be as effective as if we pressure high up the field. Let's say that man gets beaten, the ball gets played to the side. We should then see pressure on the ball, channeling them to the middle, and these players support, and we have that triangulation. Okay, this player obviously would be nice and tight there, and we'd have that compaction. And as a rule of thumb, you're going to hear this again later on when we defend in our own half, but there's a middle line all the way down the field. So that middle line is a key visual cue for our weak side defenders. So hopefully we're not going to get a player coming all the way over here, because then if they make a pass back to their goalkeeper and switch to the other side, there's no one to defend. So we've got to make sure we have what's called is balance. And these weak side defenders should go no further than the middle line. You're going to see that again. Let's say they break by us and they get into kind of this area of the field. Our players are going to work really hard to get behind the ball. They're going to look to put pressure on the ball. We're going to have our center back somewhat central and back. We're going to have the weak side players tucking right in, and the center midfielder coming in there as well, and the striker dropping in and making it hard. So you can see on this side, the weak side defender is no further than that middle line. Okay, because the last thing we need is a ball to be played over into this area to the opposition, and they've got a free path to goal. By having that weak side defender there, we can definitely cut out that pass possibly, or at least, at the very least, put pressure on the ball and delay them from getting to that goal. Okay. As a rule of thumb, we should always have one defender in front of the goal. Okay, so the ball might be over here, and we might have this wing back engaged. What we don't want to happen, as I've mentioned before, if we get a defender in here and we get a defender in here and there's no one in this key area of the park to intercept and really cover that dangerous area where 90% of the goals are scored. So we should always have that weak side player dropping into that middle zone. Center midfield kind of goes where the ball does and looks to win it back. And the striker always will provide depth. So even if you know, that they're attacking. We'd like him to come back a little bit and consolidate the middle. But let's say the ball is won, then they're providing depth right away, and we're looking to eliminate defenders and get them the ball, and then of course rejoin the attack and support. Looking at offensive principles, one of the key moments of the game is a restart from a goalkeeper. So hopefully our basic shape might look like this, okay, on a restart. And the reason we want this kind of shape is so there's a multitude of different passing options. So what we should see is the wing backs, they have a responsibility to get nice and wide. And we know that if the wing backs get are too shallow, let's say, and they're close to the center, then really we can't play. There's you know, too many defenders in a tight little area. But if the wing backs come nice and wide, then the defenders have a decision to make. Do they come then wide too? And if they do that, if they do come wide, then we can play through the middle. And we open the curtains in the middle when we have width. Well, let's say that these defenders are smart and they're going to do 1.5 jobs. They're going to play the lanes, and they're also going to mark the people. You know, that is a very difficult ball if they are somewhat central. But they're behind the retreat line, the defenders. Let's say we make the first pass there. Okay. Knowing that most teams at U9 and 10, most of the defenders will wait like vultures in the middle. We know that we want to encourage our players to try and play out of the back and try and avoid that pressure by going around them. So that quick pass, that quick restart, encourage your goalkeeper to do quick restarts to catch the other team sleeping and eliminate defenders. That pass to the side, to the center back, and then to the full back can hopefully get us into a position where we're then able to see perhaps a diagonal run from our forward onto the ball. And of course, if we get that ball to the front line, then we're having all our other players push up and join the attack. One of the characteristics of U9 and 10 will be that you'll get that ball in advanced areas, but all the other players will be back here. So very important to stress to your team that there are forward passing options. So the wing backs getting forward, the midfielder getting forward and providing an option as well. And of course, if these players are moving forward, then the center back has to move forward as well. And we look to attack as a team. Very important that you teach the roles and responsibilities of your players. The first thing you know, a player would do if you say you're on defense is to groan, because everyone likes to score those goals. But if we stress to our defender that they actually relieve pressure when we're you know, when we're faced with an obstacle, you know, maybe there's some players here and we can't go forward, we can't go to the side, well then we do have to go back. So this player is vital at relieving pressure on the ball. That ball can then go back, have a little bit more space and time to make a better decision. And hopefully we're utilizing that player. It's always nice to see backwards passes. I know that the objective is to go forward and score goals, but if we're faced with defenders and we can't go forward and we can't go to the side, then it's important that we do go back, retain possession, look to switch it to the other side, and by avoiding that pressure and switching the point of attack, we'll get more opportunities. Very important that you know, as I mentioned before, that as we do join the attack, that as soon as that ball is lost, let's say a player gets it, those players have to react quite quickly. Can they put pressure on the ball and delay the attack? Can they win that ball back? If they can't win that ball back, and let's say that a player is set free, then we all have to get back and regain that shape that we talked about before. So we work very hard to get right back behind the ball and look to delay the attack and hopefully regain possession. That's just a short video on the defensive offensive principles of the 3-1-1.